Morning.
Morning to okay, so apologies for that mishap that we had. Anyway, let's speak. So we were discussing the last time we met on how to manage the account receivable, okay? And I think the last thing we were discussing was on what are the components of the credit policy, okay? What are the components of a credit policy, okay? And we see that, don't forget, there are four main components of credit policy, okay? Which we did say that we have credit period, we have the discount terms, okay, we have the credit standards that customers must achieve first. For example, before you do give them discounts, okay, for example, before you do extended goods on credit, okay. And last thing we were discussing was on the debt collection procedure, okay. And we say that when it comes to the debt collection procedure, then what you need first to evaluate, okay, is you have to be careful as a company when you make sales on credit. Your intention is not for that sale to become a bad debt, of course. Okay, your intention is the customer will pay you once the amount becomes due and payable. Okay, so when it comes to the debt collection procedure, you try as much as possible to take all actions, all the necessary actions to ensure that that particular debt does not become a bad debt. Okay, so that's include therefore, for example, informing the customer that your account is going to be due maybe in 2 days time, in 3 days time, having reminders, okay, remind the customer that the amount they're meant to pay, where they're meant to pay, okay. If the account becomes due and payable and the customer is yet to pay, then that's when you do have to sort of even now call them, hey, your account was due yesterday, you're yet to pay us, okay? Before you even maybe decide to go to the debt collector, for example, okay, before you go to agents, okay, who are going to do debt collection for you, okay, before you go to them, because generally you may want to avoid that. But in case maybe the customer is in quotes adamant not to pay you, then you may want to go therefore to the debt collection procedure. Okay, take up the debt collectors. Okay, take up the matter with the debt collector. Okay, we're going to in quote chase on your behalf. Okay, the amount that is due from the customer. Okay, if the amount is more or less going to be too high, you can even take the customer to court. Okay, but of course that's not the best way. However, you can do that just in case maybe that's the only alternative available. Okay. So you have those are the four components you may want to consider when setting up what we call a credit policy manual. Okay, as I mentioned, there's a question that your examiner has tested in the past. Okay, in quite many cases. Okay, which I think we shall do through the question bank. We shall go through the question bank. Okay. Now, how do we evaluate? Okay, how do we evaluate how well the customer is? Okay, what are some of the things you need to look at for? Okay, where do you get the information? Okay, when it comes to the evaluation of how well the customer is. For example, before the bank can extend loans to customer, okay, what do they ask for? What sort of information do they require the customer to provide them with? Okay, so all these are matters that you may want to consider. Okay. Now the information, okay, when it comes to the evaluation of customer worthiness, okay, then the company that is extending credit to the customers, okay, they may obtain the information that is useful in the evaluation of the customer worthiness through a number of ways, okay. One could be, for example, okay, through the bank references, okay, through the bank references, okay, where you want to, for example, take goods from us worth 10 million. Hey, we would want to have a reference for the bank. We would want, for example, ask you, provide for us, we would want a support from the bank that, hey, okay, this amount of money that you want to buy goods from us worth X amount of money, but this is quite a lot of money. So we need maybe sort of a guarantee in quotes, okay, from, for example, your bank. If you remember when we were discussing on the banker's acceptance, okay, if you still remember the money market instrument, banker's acceptance itself is a bank reference. The bank, for example, is guaranteeing the customer, is guaranteeing the supplier that my customer, your customer, okay, which I am their banker, okay, I'll pay you, okay, X amount of money, okay, based on the goods that this customer has bought from you, okay. So you as the supplier, don't fear in quotes, okay. if the customer don't pay you, I'll pay you. So I'm willing to take and assume, okay, that responsibility. Okay, in itself can be source of information. You can use it in evaluating how worthy the customer is. Okay, trade reference. Okay, trying to inquire from other suppliers. Okay, they have a customer here, for example. Okay, they want to buy from me goods worth X amount of money. Okay, in the past. Okay, how has this supplier been like? Okay, are they worthy suppliers? Okay. Or could there be a case where I'm going to sell my goods to this customer and then they don't pay the due? Okay, so we can ask from other suppliers who have dealt with this particular customer, okay, on what's the experience, okay, they have had, for example, with this supplier, okay. Also, you can also obtain the information from competitors, okay. Generally, we do say that the competitors, they do what we call a competitor analysis, okay, evaluating, for example, how were they evaluating what was their position in the market, okay, what was the position of their competitor in the market, okay. For example, it's for sure definitely going. It's we would expect, okay, and I know it happened, okay, that Safaricom generally they have to do a competitor analysis, trying to evaluate, okay, what is the next move of Safaricom, what the next move of Airtel, okay. So they do this the same, okay. Safaricom have to do the same, Airtel do the same, okay. Safaricom has launched this product. We as Airtel, what can we do? Okay, we can launch the particular product, okay. So generally, competitor they may be having very good information among themselves, okay, among their fellow competitors. That one is for sure. So you can be able to obtain the information, okay, from these competitors also. Okay, you can obtain information from these competitors also. Okay. You can also obtain information from published information, okay, customer own financial statement, okay, of course you can also use them, okay, to evaluate, for example, the company gearing, okay, to understand what is their current liabilities position, okay, can they be able to pay me, what is their quick ratio. You can obtain this information from their financial statements, okay. Also can obtain information from the credit reference agencies, okay, you can also obtain that information from them. Also from the company sales record. If, for example, this customer has been your customer, okay, for the last 10 years, then of course you have information with regard to their operations, okay, which means therefore, you may want to consider therefore that if in the past 2 years I've dealt with this customer and they never paid me and now they want to take up more supplies from me, why would I want to supply them with these particular commodities? You should be very careful because it might mean that they're not going to pay you, because if in the past they haven't paid you, then what guarantees you that they are going to buy from you and pay? Okay, it may never happen. Okay, so therefore you can also obtain that information from your own past trading records you have with this particular supplier. Okay. You can also have credit reference agencies and credit scoring. More or less going to be the same, because either way, at the end of the day, what they're going to do is about the rating. Okay, so it's about the scoring being for the individual, rating being for the companies. Okay. Okay. Now, when it comes to the collection overdue, okay, which I think I already mentioned, the debt collection procedures, okay, I think I mentioned that, that you must have a system, okay, that is going to sort of guide you that, as I mentioned, the first thing or the first objective of the company is that you don't want to have a case where you will end up having a customer becoming overdue. Okay, you make a sale, okay, the sale on credit, with the intention that this customer will pay you. Okay, that's is always the case. That's always what you want as a company. Okay, that the customer will pay you at the end of the day. Okay, they'll pay you. Okay, that's what you want. Okay. However, don't forget that if the customer does not want to pay you, then you may, in quote, want to use a forceful manner of obtaining, okay, that amount that is due. Okay, you may want to, in quote, use forceful manner, okay, which of course is not the best. Okay, you have to be quite careful, because what type of customer am I dealing with? Okay, because in case you're going to deal with customers whose sales you make to them is quite substantial, then they may be, in quote, be annoyed in case you have to use a brutal way of trying to obtain the money, okay, for example, through the agents, okay. So you have to be quite careful as you try to attempt what method you want to do we use as a company, okay. And the number of techniques you can use, okay? For example, as I mentioned, you can have reminders, okay? You have reminders to the customer to remind them that when the amount is going to be due, that, hey, you have our debt. It is due in 2 days' time, okay? So you remind the customer that they're meant to pay you in 2 days' time, okay? We have phone calls, okay? You can even call them, okay? Maybe in the worst case scenario, you cannot, not worst case scenario, but in some bad cases, you can withdraw supplies, okay? As we mentioned, if this customer is here to pay you amount that was due in 2 years' time, and now they want more supplies from you, with why would you want to supply them with? Okay, so can withhold the supplies, okay? Ask them, hey, you want more supply from me? First pay me the amount that was due 3 months ago, the amount that was due 9 months ago, okay? Simple as that, okay? You can also involve debt collectors, okay? And of course, for debt collectors, they're not the best, okay, generally. And you have to be quite careful for both sides, either for the customer as well as for your case, okay? Debt collection agencies, okay? Because for them, they're not there. They're not there to maintain your relationship between yourself and your customer. So they may end up causing more damages. Anyway, but if the customer seem not to want to pay, then you may want to involve them. Okay. Lastly, you may want, for example, okay, sue them. Okay, the legal action. You can sue the customer if they're not paying to pay you. Okay, they owe you money. Okay, task is, okay, you are suppliers, they're not paying you money. Go to the court, ask them to be liquidated so that they can pay you money. Okay, ask the court to declare them maybe. To declare that this company as it's liquid, okay, it is insolvent. So all the assets are sold off so that you can be paid money as suppliers. You can also do that. But however, that should be the last thing you want to do as a company. And so these are means that can use when it comes to the collection of overdue amount. Okay. We just check on your examiner. Okay. So give me a second.